Hi everyone, my name is Anna, and I love to make fun of sex. In no way is this content I'm about to share with you sexy or horny, so if you got a chubby, go ahead and tuck it up into that boxer short. Strap on and strap in, because we're about to make fun of my sexual life. So let's take a second and talk about everyone's favorite subject during quarantine, which is the daunting question. What would you do if I were here right now? LOL. Send. Yeah, bitch. You know, the LOL at the end to take the edge off. So you may ask yourselves, what is a 30-year-old woman who never gets laid telling me about sex? Well, in my 20s, I used to have sex. I'd have a lot of it. And I gained a lot of experience until I turned 30, and I learned a lot more. What I saw, I did not like. I realized in my 30s that about, statistically speaking, these are actual statistics, 80% of the women on pornos that are most liked and enjoyed by men, and nowhere in the porno is the woman getting off or shown orgasming. Like, if you want to see that, and if that is your thing, you literally have to type in on like Pornhub or whatever, woman squirting, woman orgasming. Like, it's not a given. Or you go to like those women porno sites, and the woman is actually enjoying herself and having sex with a guy that doesn't look like a total fucking douchebag. Which is why I can't watch porn, because all the guys look like fucking douchebags. You're like, and for women, like, women just have to be hot. Like, when I'm watching a porno, I'm sitting there thinking, do you think this guy owns his own business? Like, what does he do for fun? Do you think he's a nice person? And most of them have tribal tattoos, so we already know that's like going south. So I started to hate sex in my 30s, so I sit around and make fun of it, and I know it's not good, but you know, if you do have a fetish for, you know, women orgasming, and that's like the thing that gets you off, and you are a male, all 2 of you out of the 160 million in the United States, you know, give me a call. Sometimes I think about writing a 15 paragraph long essay to the last guy I had sex with, just telling him how bad it was and how I was so traumatized by it and how I can never have sex again. And I actually did. And when I saw him again, he was like, hey, do you hate me? And I was like, well, did you get my text message? And he goes, what are you talking about? That, my friends, is divine intervention. I often think that if this man had gotten a text from me that was like pretty long, you know, for a text message, like you had to scroll about how bad the sex was and, you know, how traumatized I was over it, and how I was trying to be nice to him afterwards, not because I liked him, but because I felt so bad because it just went so wrong. He never fucking got it. And I really think if he had, he might have done something bad. He might not be here today. Which would be unfortunate, because now his he has a baby coming with somebody else. So apparently he came, but that's all that matters, right? Like, you know, it doesn't matter if I came, if all my ex-boyfriends have children now. That's normal. I mean, that's all that matters, right? I mean, if we woke up one day in a world, I'll tell you a real world crisis. If in order to have children, women had to orgasm, we'd all be fucked. Like, fucked. Not sexy fucked. women all over would not be able to tell these white lies to not emasculate their lovers, because then we would have the results on the clear blue. They'd be like, oh, you orgasmed, right? And we're like, oh yeah, it was great. And then you'd look at the clear blue pregnancy test, and the lie detector test would determine that was a fucking lie. And we can't have that. It's been argued that the magical power of women squirting is actually pee. And I've been thinking about it. Like, maybe we should get the men with all these kinks to, like, taste the women's pee-pee to determine if it's urine or not. Because, you know, I guess some guys like drinking pee. I don't know. I don't know what they do anymore. But it seems like the guys with, like, the most amount of kinks and fetishes and demands, or, like, the list of things they need, like, always seem to be the ones that aren't really good at sex. It's like, okay, you want me to dress like that, you want to touch my butthole and lick my toes, but, like, can you find the clitoris? Let me know. You know, I mean, it's just, to me, a list of demands that they make sound sexy by deeming them, you know, fetishes or kinks, when really it's just a list of boring shit I don't care about. You know, whenever men ask me if I have a fetish, you know what my answer always is now? I'm like, missionary. Make me come. Let's go. Make it easy. And I feel like one of the most common ones that men really love, you know, getting into is buttholes. Like, what the fuck is up with buttholes, dude? Like, please, for the love of God, let's just talk about this for a second. Like, I think that you should have to go through a couple tests. One being the first and foremost, identify the clitoris. And then the second one being, like, let's have normal missionary position sex for like 15 minutes. And if we can have that missionary sex for like 15 minutes and enjoy it, then we just maybe start to talk about buttholes? Like, I don't understand it. It's really horrible. Like, don't worry about my butthole, worry about my vagina. And then one day, you know, you gotta earn that. I mean, and with the whole, like women orgasming thing, like, if I'm peeing when I come, then why are my pelvic muscles convulsing? When I go sit on the toilet, my pelvic muscles aren't convulsing. I don't want some man thinking about my urethra or what my urethra is doing. You know, I don't go around and pick up their cum socks and to test whether that's cum or not. You know, if I wanted to do that, I would just go outside on a Atlanta spring day and smell those cum trees. And you bitches know what the fuck I'm talking about. Especially if you were involved in the punk scene and dated punk guys that were really just guys that didn't fucking know how to wash their asses. And for some reason you thought it would be a hot idea to swallow their cum, and, like, you never could unsmell that. I mean, it's like a taste you can't forget. I guess what I'm getting at is, like, the bottom line of all of this is I don't need you to lick my asshole, sir. I need you to identify the clitoris. Please. Please and thank you. On behalf of women everywhere. Like, if nobody else wants to say it, I will. So let's talk about this. Have you ever seen the men who run the BDSM groups? So why do I get the feeling no one has ever fucking listened to anything they've said in their life? Like, no one's ever obeyed them or anything. It's like, the door guys at venues. You're like, you know, their dick gets hard when they ask you for their fucking ID. And, like, let's say you forgot your ID or something. You've never seen a dick get so hard at a venue. You know, it reminds me of, you know, I'm going to tell you something. This is a new one. What is worse than being a fucking cop? Let me tell you what's worse than being a cop. Being the security at a punk show. You are public enemy number one for me and my friends. And, like, it is so embarrassing. Like, fuck off. Like, you know, with their fucking tribal tattoos. Like, the most embarrassing boners you'll ever meet in your life. Like, you couldn't become a cop, so you became the security guy at the venue so you could beat up people, like, for fun. And we all know that those guys are, like, the 50 Shades of Grey wannabe kind of men. It's the same losers that'll fuck literally anything. No standards, fuck anything that walks. In fact, you're like, is the worse it looks, the hotter it is. Who call themselves sex addicts. Like, it's usually like out of shape men who haven't seen their penis in 5 years, calling little Asian women that are cute and adorable kittens, and joining BDSM groups, deeming themselves as somebody's daddy, because their kink is, get this, their kink is this, having women give a shit about anything they're saying. And then wanting to listen to them. Yeah, I'm sure if you were that, like, if I was that overlooked too, that would be my kink too. Come here, curtain. I mean, it just reminds me of joining AOL chat rooms to talk about BDSM back in the day. Like, I mean, are these things even fetishes, or are they just things that men need to go to therapy about? I mean, I guess it's mentally ill to want to have sex with every woman ever in the world with no end to it. Yes, let's call that sex addiction. So let me tell you about sex addiction. Actually, Dr. Phil does not consider sex addiction a real addiction. And if I haven't learned anything else in my 30s, I've learned this. Dr. Phil has a lot of truth, and you know, you start listening to Dr. Phil in a real non-ironic way when you get to your 30s. So I have a quick story. One time I went to a BDSM panel, and I wanted to hear about, like, strong, scary, Viking-looking men, you know, and how they were going to punish me. Well, I walk into this room that looks like it's full of, like, 500 people, and I see this, I don't know, had to be over 300-pound man in a wheelchair with a fucking ponytail and a fedora, and he was leading the whole group of panels, and or panelists, and he was talking about his BDSM relationship with his online girlfriend that lived in Norway. And I was in my early 20s, but in the back of my head, I was like totally a 14-year-old boy going through puberty mode. I was like snickering. I was sitting there thinking, like, what does he write? Like, hello, kitten, you better do this or I'm going to punish you. And I'm like, how are you going to punish her from fucking, you know, America when she's in Norway? Are you going to send her a fucking frowny face? Like, get a fucking life, loser. Like, you could just tell that this man was so happy anyone gave a shit about his personal sex life and what he did while he was sitting at home, probably catfishing some poor woman in Norway. Like, it was actual torture. And actually, I got kicked out of that panel for taking a picture of him, and I'm forced to delete it and scorned by a bunch of BDSM people. And that's when I realized they're not sexy, like, you know, fetish people that are dressed in leather, Judas Priest, like, they are actually like those godforsaken people on TikTok that have 50 Shades of Grey quotes dubbed over their video, and you have to watch them, like, lick their lips and show you their tongue ring. It's like something out of a fucking nightmare. If you weren't unhorny before, go watch it. Go look up 50 Shades of Grey on TikTok. It's like, it'll become your sleep paralysis demon. Some man who lives in his mother's basement in the Midwest, like, licking his lips, quoting Christian Grey. It's really things nightmares are made of. So I could go on all day, but I just wanted to talk about some of the horrors I've experienced in my life. You may think I'm the bad guy, but you guys should just really feel bad for me, because I'm the only one losing here. I would rather be unfunny than to ever have a man be able to look down at me while I'm sucking his dick and take me seriously ever again. I've made fun of sex so much that I don't think it's possible to ever be horny again. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with my life, because I feel like I've already gone through menopause because my life is so unhorny. So I'm gonna have more of these where I talk shit about sex. If you guys want me to talk about any particular subject, I'd love to hear your feedback, questions. Maybe I'll do like a questionnaire next week about what other subjects I can talk about. You know, I have more penis jokes. But please tune in next time, and I will tell you more horror stories from my personal experience. But if you can't take this heat, get out of the fucking bedroom, you fucking wimps. Because, I'm here to make fun of everyone. No one is fucking safe during this quarantine. I will make fun of sex until the day I die. But you guys, be safe out there. If you're fucking, wrap it up. And, you know, fuck it. That's all I gotta say. Alright. See you next time.